decided I'd drop in for a few minutes to go live. Been a little minute before I went live. I just got through dropping 2 videos. One about how baseball, or high school baseball specifically, has been affected by travel ball. Made some nice comments there, but you'd be interested to note just how far down the average team, public school team, is, especially here in the city of Jacksonville. But I made a few comments about that and what I thought could be fixed on that. But the biggest thing is that Dartmouth College, the men's basketball team, voted last week to unionize. That is earth-shattering, especially to the NCAA. You know, when the NIL came out, NIL, that's a big problem because institutions, they want to maintain control and power over the athletes because they're making a tremendous amount of money. So if you've been making all this money for years, why not continue to do so? And it would be to the great detriment to these institutions for people to realize just how much money they have really been making. So how can you say that athlete is an amateur and they can't make any money, and you don't even play, but you're making all the money? It's kind of a very plantation type system, and the players been fighting that all along. And then you have some people who recognize that in the institutional level, and they were paying players under the table. God forbid if you got caught doing that, you might get the death penalty like what happened to SMU football. They were able to come back, but they were pretty crippled for a long time. But, it's kind of sad when, you're playing both sides of the fence there. And it's a good thing that the players are able to make a little bit of that money now. But the fact that Dartmouth College is unionizing, that is a horrific blow to the NCAA. So my question is, how are they going to recover? But one thing that was brought up that I heard on a podcast a couple of days ago, they talked about Nick Saban. They say Nick Saban getting out of the football coaching because the playing field is no longer in his advantage. In other words, it was implied that Alabama has been paying players all along under the table, and that's how they were able to keep getting good players. Not so much that Saban was developing these guys. Is that true? I can't say for certain, but something's going on. But I think Saban quit or didn't want to do it anymore. What else does he have to prove, number one? And two, it's a completely foreign concept of coaching of what he's known. You got players coming in now with their hands out about what they can get. And if you can't get it, they're going to go somewhere else where they know they can get it. They just wanted to play for you and see if you're going to play ball like everybody else, and it would be to their advantage to try to go somewhere where they really wanted to be. But it still comes down to the dollar. I need to take care of mom and home and everything else, so I'm going to go where the money is good. That's why the transfer portal is so popular. You promised me this. You said I can do that. Okay, you want to let me do that? I'm going to get this experience, and the first chance I get, I'm out of here. They're gone. So now that they're gone, they're going to go somewhere else to somebody else who promised them. And if this unionizing thing takes hold or is finalized, then NCAA is it's a done deal for them. And I don't know how they're going to do it. But again, back to Saban. They're pretty much implying that the man, his big advantage was that he couldn't coach. He can't coach if the other team has the same kind of players he had. I don't necessarily agree with that, but at the same time, I see the way things are in high school. All these players transferring schools to be with their buddies, and you got an abundance of players on one side, and they go across town to play against the team they were supposed to be playing with, and it's a complete mismatch. It's a blowout because they got all the players. You don't have any. Like my high school coaches used to tell us, it's not about the X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and Joes. I can draw up all kind of elaborate schemes and tell you how this is going to work, but if I don't have the players to execute that, then I got a problem. And you're seeing that all across the landscape of sports. I'm seeing it in high school, now you're seeing it in college, and pro is the only place really where it shakes out some. But even then, if you go to an organization that hasn't won very much, what are the likelihood of you going to go to that program or that team in free agency? Yeah, they'll pay you a whole lot of money, but at the end of the day, once you make enough money, you want to win. Reggie White he made a big difference when he went to Green Bay. Nobody expected him to go to Green Bay when free agency first took hold, but that made a big difference for Green Bay. But the likelihood of that happening to most teams that can't win, it's not going to happen. So that's just my thoughts. But again, I just dropped 2 videos on the Dartmouth College unionizing and the effect that travel ball has had on high school baseball. So I think it's pretty interesting. I'm going to schedule those to release in about 15, 20 minutes. But again, this is sports for real. I got a lot of hot topics coming down the pipe. Got some interviews coming up. If this is something you might be interested in, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so when I drop something, you'll know what's going down. Until then, catch you on the other end. This is sports for real.